Picture this. A man stands in front of his bathroom mirror on a Tuesday morning. The light is harsh, unforgiving, and for the first time in years, maybe decades, he really looks. Not a glance, not a quick check of his tie. He looks. The man he sees is not the man he remembers. The jaw is softer, the chest has shifted downward. The arms that once carried weight, built things, protected people, they're thinner now. The belly that wasn't there at 40 has staked a permanent claim. And there's something in the eyes, not sadness exactly, more like distance, like a man looking at a photograph of someone he used to know.
He's not lazy. He never was. He worked 40 years, he built things, he raised children. He fought through storms that would have leveled lesser men. He is not weak. He is not a failure. He is simply a man who did what the world told him to do and forgot to take himself with him.
This video is for that man. Not for the 25-year-old with 6 months to get shredded for summer. Not for the fitness influencer selling supplements from his penthouse gym. This is for the man who put everyone else first for 30 years and is finally asking himself, what about me? This is for the man who still has fire in his chest, even if nobody's fanned it in a while.
Here's what nobody tells you about aging. It doesn't happen all at once. There's no single moment when the body decides to change. No dramatic collapse, no alarm. It's a slow theft, silent, patient, relentless. 1 percentage point of muscle lost here, 1 night of poor sleep there, 1 decade of sitting too long, moving too little, eating whatever was fast and available.
The real problem isn't physical. Not at first. The real problem is that somewhere along the way, most men over 60 stopped thinking of their body as something that belongs to them. The body became a vehicle, a machine for doing things, for working, providing, showing up. And like any machine that's run without maintenance, it started to break down.
Society helped build this cage. For generations, men were taught that caring for themselves was optional, that stoicism meant ignoring the body's signals, that real men push through pain, swallow discomfort, keep going until they can't. And so they did. They kept going until the knees gave out, until the doctor said, sit down, until the mirror became an uncomfortable place to stand.
And the cruelest part? By the time most men notice, by the time the mirror finally speaks, the gap between where they are and where they want to be feels enormous, overwhelming. And so the mind reaches for its oldest defense mechanism. It says, it's too late. I'm too old. That ship has sailed. The mind, trying to protect the man from disappointment, convinces him not to try at all.
Let's go deep for a moment, because understanding what's happening is the first step to reversing it. After 50, the human male body begins a process called sarcopenia, the gradual loss of skeletal muscle mass. Without intervention, a man can lose anywhere from 3 to 8% of his muscle mass every decade after 30. By 60, many men have lost nearly a third of the muscle they had at their peak. This isn't failure. This is biology. But biology is not destiny.
Testosterone begins its long decline starting at around 30. By 60, many men have testosterone levels significantly below what they carried in their prime. This doesn't just affect muscle. It affects mood, confidence, drive, emotional resilience, sleep quality, and the fundamental hunger for life that defines a man at his best.
Then there's the psychological dimension, and this is where it gets truly interesting. The male brain, by the time it reaches 60, has often spent 4 decades in output mode, producing, providing, solving, achieving. It has rarely been asked to invest in itself. And when a man finally has the time, when the career is winding down, the kids are grown, the mortgage is paid, the brain doesn't know what to do with the freedom. Inertia sets in. The couch becomes familiar. Comfort becomes the enemy wearing the costume of a friend. Cortisol, the stress hormone, elevates chronically in many men over 50.
Chronic stress, decades of it, rewires the brain's reward pathways. Sleep becomes fractured. Recovery slows. Inflammation builds quietly in the joints and arteries, like rust inside old pipes. The body does not fail dramatically. It deteriorates gracefully. And most men don't notice until the deterioration has gone far enough to make them feel like strangers in their own skin.
Now, let's talk about the things men do, with the best intentions, that make everything worse. Mistake number 1. They wait for motivation before they move. Motivation is a lie told to men who are standing still. It doesn't arrive before the action, it follows the action. The man who waits to feel motivated before going for a walk will wait until he's dead. The man who goes for the walk before he feels like it, that man changes his chemistry, his mood, his entire day. Motion creates motivation, not the other way around.
Mistake number 2, they try to do too much, too fast. The man who hasn't trained in 15 years does not need a 7-day split. He does not need 2-a-day sessions. He does not need to punish his body back into shape in 30 days. This is not a comeback movie montage. This is real life. And real life rewards consistency over intensity every single time. The body at 60 responds best to steady, progressive challenge, not shock, not extremity.
Mistake number 3. They eat like they did at 40, but move like they're 60. Metabolism slows. Protein requirements increase with age, not decrease, because the older body is less efficient at using what it takes in. Most men over 60 are chronically under-eating protein and over-consuming processed carbohydrates. The body, starved of the building blocks it needs, cannot maintain muscle mass, cannot recover, cannot perform. Food is not the enemy. The wrong food in the wrong amounts at the wrong time is.
Mistake number 4. They isolate. The research on this is overwhelming and devastating in equal measure. Social isolation in men over 60 is one of the strongest predictors of physical decline, cognitive deterioration, and early death. Men who train alone, live alone in their habits, refuse to ask for help or community. They struggle in silence. And silence, over time, becomes surrender. The strongest versions of men over 60 are almost never the ones who went it alone.
Mistake number 5. They let pain become identity. Pain is information. Pain is the body's language. But many men, after a lifetime of pushing through it, reach 60 and begin to define themselves by it. I can't do that. My knee. I used to run, but my back. And slowly, the list of things they can no longer do expands. Not because the body has truly reached its limit, but because the mind has accepted limitation as identity. This is the quiet catastrophe of aging in men who were never taught to listen to their bodies intelligently.
Here is the truth that the fitness industry doesn't want to sell you, because it doesn't cost anything. You don't need a revolution. You need a rhythm. The men who are truly fit and vital at 60, 70, and beyond did not find some secret. They built habits so small that failure was almost impossible. And then they kept them, day after day, week after week, season after season. The extraordinary body at 65 is just the ordinary body that kept showing up.
Step 1. Walk. Every single day. No excuses, no exceptions. Before anything else, before the gym, before the diet plan, before the supplements, walk. 30 minutes minimum, outside if you can, every single day. This is not a warm-up. This is the foundation. Walking at a brisk pace elevates testosterone, regulates cortisol, improves insulin sensitivity, strengthens the heart, lubricates the joints, and, crucially, signals to the aging brain that you are still in the game. Do not underestimate this.
Step 2. Lift. Twice a week. Compound movements only. The single most powerful thing a man over 60 can do for his health, his hormones, his metabolism, and his confidence is resistance training. Not machines, not isolation work, compound movements, squats, deadlifts, rows, presses, movements that use multiple muscle groups simultaneously. The body does not need to be destroyed, it needs to be challenged.
2 sessions per week is enough to reverse years of muscle loss. 2 sessions of 30 to 45 minutes with adequate recovery in between.
Step 3. Feed the machine like it's worth something. Minimum 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass every single day. Eggs, chicken, fish, beef, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt. Real food in real amounts. Hydration. Men over 60 are chronically dehydrated, and most don't feel thirst reliably anymore. 2 to 3 liters of water daily. Reduce the processed carbohydrates, the alcohol, the sugar. Not to punish yourself, but because the body you want to live in for the next 20 years runs on premium fuel. Step 4. Sleep like your life depends on it, because it does. 7 to 9 hours, non-negotiable. Growth hormone, the hormone responsible for tissue repair, muscle maintenance, and cognitive clarity, is released almost entirely during deep sleep. The man who is chronically sleep deprived is running on a biological deficit he cannot work his way out of in the gym. Fix the sleep before you fix anything else. A cool room, a dark room, no screens for 60 minutes before bed. The same time every night, 7 nights a week.
Step 5. Find your people. Accountability, community, brotherhood. Men who are physically active at 65 and beyond almost universally share one trait. They do it with someone. A training partner, a walking group, an old friend who calls to ask if you showed up. The science is clear. Social connection multiplies the benefits of physical activity and multiplies a man's likelihood of maintaining it. Find your people. Be someone else's person. The gym is better when it's shared.
Here's what I want to leave you with. This was never really about the body. Not entirely. The body is the language. The body is the way a man speaks to the world about who he believes he is and what he believes he's worth. The man who stands tall, who moves with intention, who takes care of what he carries his life inside, he is making a statement every single day, whether he knows it or not.
You are not too old. You have not missed your window. The research is unambiguous and remarkable. Men who begin resistance training in their 60s and 70s gain muscle mass, improve cardiovascular health, reduce disease markers, and report profoundly higher quality of life, often within weeks of beginning. The body has not given up on you. The body is waiting. The body is always waiting.
Think about the man your grandchildren will remember. Not how he looked, how he moved, how he showed up. Whether his handshake was still firm, whether he got down on the floor to play with them, whether he carried the groceries and held the door and walked the trail and lived like a man who had not surrendered. That man is still possible. He is not a memory. He is a choice.
The world is full of men who went quietly, who stopped trying, who let the years accumulate like sediment until they couldn't see the bottom of who they used to be. And there is no judgment in that, only a recognition that it doesn't have to be that way, that the decision is made one morning at a time, one walk at a time, one meal at a time, one night of real sleep at a time.
You are still that man in the mirror, not the one with the softened jaw and the uncertain eyes, the other one, the one who built things and endured things and kept going when going was hard. He is still there. He has not left the building. He is waiting impatiently for you to decide that he is worth showing up for.
If you made it to the end of this video, that matters. Not because you watched, but because you stayed. Because something in this spoke to you. Because some part of you recognized itself in what I was describing and didn't look away.
Subscribe to this channel, not for me, for yourself. Every week we go into this territory, the real territory of what it means to be a man in the second half of your life and refuse to go quietly. How to train, how to eat, how to sleep, how to think, how to live in a way that makes the next 20 years the ones you remember, the ones your family remembers, the ones you are proud of when that moment of mirror reckoning comes again.
The clock is running. It always was. But here's the thing about a man who decides to live fully. He doesn't fear the clock. He uses it. He picks it up like a tool, and he builds something with the time that's left. Something worthy, something strong, something his body can still carry and his spirit can be proud of.
Go take care of yourself. You've earned it, and you're not done yet.